DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and GP. Keep you knowing the alpha keeps flowing. The hunters tools they be showing. The AI gale keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news, Ethereum, Solana, and stacks and other L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip, innovating the chain, letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks, where it's at. Fast transactions are fat. Where it's at. The leading L2 is making maxes look back. DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and GP. Keep you knowing the alpha keeps flowing. The hunters tools they be showing. The AI gale keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news, Ethereum, Solana, and stacks and other L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip, innovating the chain, letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks, where it's at. Fast transactions are fat. Where it's at. The leading L2 is making maxes look back. DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and GP. Keep you knowing the alpha keeps flowing. The hunters tools they be showing. The AI gale keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news, Ethereum, Solana, and stacks and other L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip, innovating the chain, letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks, where it's at. Fast transactions are fat. Where it's at. The leading L2 is making maxes look back. DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and GP. Keep you knowing the alpha keeps flowing. The hunters tools they be showing. The AI gale keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news, Ethereum, Solana, and stacks and other L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip, innovating the chain, letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks, where it's at. Fast transactions are fat. Where it's at. The leading L2 is making maxes look back. DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and GP. Keep you knowing the alpha keeps flowing. The hunters tools they be showing. The AI gale keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news, Ethereum, Solana, and stacks and other L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip, innovating the chain, letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks, where it's at.
All right. So without further ado, though, I want to segue into Tony's segment because I love what Tony is working on. I think it's some amazing stuff. Let me get this off of here.
Oops.
Oh, we did the thing.
Did the thing, man. Did the thing. Happy Friday, peace. We did the thing.
It's been a while since we were co-producing like that.
Yeah.
It's been a little while. Tony, man, what's up? How you doing? You've been
Hey.
a rock star. You've been making the circuit.
Yes.
You've been on I saw you on the what do they call it? Stacks Office Hours now with Eric and Kenny. That was just yesterday. I'm gonna have to pick that up and replay it on the show sometime soon. But great having you with us. I don't have a whole lot of your background. I know you have a tech history, but we met up at the. I thought I didn't know what the hell you were doing there, GP. Looked like you were about to hit a bong or something.
I had a little runaway string there for a second. I just set myself on fire, man. That's how the music made me feel.
All right, so I met Tony at the Stacks Hacker House, and that was a great experience, by the way. And I wasn't a direct participant. I was a satellite participant. I kind of just showed up whenever I felt like it to participate in the amazing meals because you guys had that chef that was just providing awesome food for you guys. But the vibe there was awesome, man. It was like a friends. Yeah. I loved it. I thought you guys were you guys all seemed to be very friendly. You were all helping each other out, cranking on each other's projects. So what? I'll shut up. You tell us, what was your experience like there? And that's where you came up with the idea to work on 402, right? You weren't coming there to work on that specifically?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna give up a little bit of background on how everyone got into the hacker house. So basically, if you wanted to be at the Stacks hacker house, you were not able to apply. You have to create a project before winning a hackathon or maybe one of the challenges they had. So basically, it wasn't like a ton of applications. Maybe you can come in. So basically, the way you get into the hacker house was by winning a hackathon. So I won one of those hackathons. I mean, not the first place, but I got into the hacker house using X402 for Stacks, the Latin America one.
You did submit an X402 project for the submitted for the hackathon. Was it one of the LATAM hackathon? Was it the LATAM?
Exactly. Yeah, for the Latin America hackathon. Yeah, for the Latin America hackathon that Angel and Jonathan were organizing, that one. So I wanted to create something on the Stacks since the last year because some of my friends, like he has a protocol here in Mexico. It's called Metapool. It's kind of the biggest one DeFi protocols in Latin America. It's not on the Stacks. It's more like EVM, Solana. But basically, like he told me that, hey, there's this hackathon. I think you should join. It's pretty great. Last year, and I didn't have enough time to work on that. But I started like following Jonathan and Angel because they were doing a lot of noise here in Latin America. And this year I said like, hey, I want to build something. I don't know why. I don't know what. Sorry. I want to build something on Stacks. I want to get hands-on on Stacks. I really like Bitcoin L2. So obviously Stacks is the biggest one. So I wanted to get my hands dirty building something. So I was like trying to understand what was built, what wasn't, and I saw that X402 wasn't built for Stacks. X402 has been getting a lot of traction the last 3 months. It's actually something like from almost a year ago, like 7-8 months ago, but like 2-3 months ago, it started getting like a lot of traction, X402. A lot of movement, especially on the base blockchain and a little bit on Solana. So I said like, hey, I really think this is going to be great. I think this is like core infrastructure that every blockchain needs. So I think I'm going to work this for the hackathon. So I did it. I won the fourth place and I got into the hacker house. And that's where I had the opportunity to go to Buenos Aires and to keep working on my project.
Nice. Awesome, man. Awesome stuff. And so for those that don't know, can you give us just a quick explanation as to what 402 is?
Yeah, sure thing. So basically, X402 comes from the 402 status code. On the internet, we always have status code. So for example, if you go to any website and the website responds correctly, you're gonna get a 200. Or the most obvious one is that when you go to, let's say you're using Chrome, you go to a website and that website cannot be found. It responds with a 404, right? Not found. That's the same principle. So basically, if one of those websites resources on the internet require a payment, the server, the backend server, is going to respond with a 402. That's the way it works, 402. But there's one problem. The current infrastructure we have, or the legacy infrastructure we have, like Stripe, PayPal, all those payment rails, and the legacy ones are like, first, super slow, like you need to wait a lot of time for the payment to be settled. Second thing, it's not made for agents. Like you need a credit card, you need to go sign up, you need to go create an account, then choose a plan, pay for it, get the API keys. So now you can start using that service you were looking for. So that's a flow that the agent is not going to able to do, at least at this point. And the last thing is super expensive. If you want to send maybe like a cent or like 2 cents through a Stripe or PayPal, it's going to be so much more expensive than the actual money you're sending, right? So that's when X402 came. X402 came. It's the same principle by using the 402 status code from HTTP that we always had, but now you're sending the payment details. Those payment details include your address, your the amount of SBTC or STX or the token you want basically to receive the payment, and the payment due date, right? So with that information, the client who wants to get that resource from the internet can create the signature to pay the amount of STX or SBTC that is required from the backend, take that information, create the signature, and send it back to the backend. The backend receives that signature from the client, settles down the payment, verifies that the payment was done, and with that, it sends back the resource that the client was looking for. So that's basically the way X402 works.
Awesome. That's amazing. So it basically, in a short summary, what you're working on is a way to allow agents to accept payments online, which is actually it can actually just be between agents. It doesn't even actually have to, once we get to the point where you can actually assign your agent to commit signatures for you, it can actually be agent to agent transactions.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually the way it works right now. So for example, let's say this is the basic use case, right? Like for example, all agents, they need the LLM to live, right? Without the AI model, they cannot be alive. So the way they're doing now is that instead of like going to OpenAI or Anthropic and like, I don't know, like buying $500 of credits, and your agent has that like bag of tokens that the agent can use. Instead of doing that, what people is doing is to make it cheaper and to make it a little bit faster, is that the agent has a wallet, let's say like with $10, and the agent is paying for every LLM request that it needs to be alive using crypto, using X402. So in that way, it's like basically paying for your food as a human, right? You have some money, you need to go to pay for the food. The food is basically the LLM model that the agent is using. But now it's paid for through X402 and on demand. So basically, you can create as many agents as you want, and then the only thing you need is to have a wallet with some crypto in it. In this case, SBTC, for example. Yep.
So it helps you access the APIs and whatnot as well.
Exactly. So the current we have a lot of APIs right now in the market, and if you want to go and use those APIs, you need to sign up. You need to choose the plan you want to have, and you need to pay for that API, and then you need to create the API key, right? So that's the typical flow that we have right now. And that flow, that's something that the agent, maybe you can try to do it. Maybe I have in the past made some tricks, like giving a card to my agent and using some MCP server so you can try to automate the process, but it's pretty hard for that agent to do that. So X402 basically removes all the logic to have API keys, because you're basically paying per request. So you want to get let's say you have an API that generates some AI images, right? Or the music, the music one. So basically you have the API that generates the music. The agent, if maybe you have like a funny agent, that funny agent is able to create videos, images, but it's not able to create music. And maybe it's getting a lot of requests, your agent is getting a lot of requests to generate music. So what would be the flow? So maybe it has two options. The first one is to have a wallet using X402, find an API who receives X402 as a payment, and start using that one. That's gonna be like super automatically, like agents having agency to choose which product to use. And the other one is that, okay, my human needs to give me some API keys, give me the documentation, give me everything that I need to create music using AI. So obviously, which one with agency would the agent choose? The first one, right? Like there's an API who receives X402. I have a wallet. I have some stable coins. I have some SBTC, so I can pay for that API myself. So with that and MCP servers, the agents are going to have more capabilities in an automatic way, right? Because they don't need the human to give them the tools. They can basically have some. It's like us, right? Like I want to get some hamburgers. We're not waiting for us as an adults, obviously, right? We're not waiting for maybe our parents to get us that hamburger, right? We have our money. We go to the store, or maybe Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever. We request the food, right? So that's pretty much the same way. Instead of like waiting for your parents to get you that food, you as an agent, you're gonna have all the tools to go and pay for the resources you need.
Awesome stuff. We actually have Hero Gamer in the live chat, which Hero Gamer can actually come and talk to us live anytime, but I like when he's in the live chat too. He's asking, he wants us to ask you, what do you think about X402 V2? And I wasn't even aware until I saw that question that that's a thing. So explain to us not only what you think about it, but please, before you tell me what you think about it, explain to me what V2 is. What is it changing from?
There's a ton of changes now. So for example, one of the most important things, I need to really understand if this applies for stacks or not, because obviously signatures are a little bit different from EVM and Solana and stacks. But basically, okay, so a little bit of history about X402. It was created by Coinbase, all right? So it was created by Coinbase like 7-8 months ago. And it was a little bit centralized right now, because if you wanted to create your own version of X402, basically you have to create your own module, right? There was not like a setup. You cannot like add your own facilitator. The facilitator is basically the service which takes the signature and settles the payment. That's the facilitator. So you relied a lot on first Coinbase or like creating your own infrastructure to have X402. So that was like the main thing, is that now with V2, you in theoretically, and at least with the EVM and Solana side, you don't have to create any other package, any other X402 module by yourself, and all the facilitator and all the infrastructure if you wanted to do something different. That's the first thing. The Coinbase was not. They didn't want you to have like a customization on the V1, and with this new version, now you have you can customize it a little bit more. First thing. Second thing is that now it's supposed to work with any EVM, at least, not sure if any other networks, but I think with any EVM. So basically, in the past, the way it worked is that you had to deploy your own facilitator on every EVM network you wanted to support. I think they made some changes, and now it's like a universal facilitator, so it's so much easier to use instead of like waiting for someone to deploy that facilitator into the EVM you wanted to use. That's another thing. And another setup that they created, it's basically so much customization right now, but I think that the other important thing that they added is that now you can choose which token to get paid for. This is something that X402 on stacks was born with. You can choose if you're going to use STX or SBTC or another token to get paid for. But they just added. So the first approach that Coinbase had is that all payments were going to be through USDC, only USDC. So obviously, it kind of makes sense because APIs are now made through. I mean, like you can have an API, you are receiving dollars as a payment, but you as an agent, you should have the agency, the independence of choose which token to use. That's my theory. For example, I think that once we all the agents that they have this totally agency.
Well, the concern there is there, especially on like Solana, it's not that difficult to make a token that mimics USDC but isn't USDC, so it could be easy to. I can appreciate why, for security reasons, they might want to limit the tokens at least up front, because really most payments are going to be in USDC or USDT, USDC, and or Bitcoin, right? Or maybe Ethereum, Solana on those chains. So is that a concern? Is that a security concern where people could make spoof tokens and it's hard for the network to tell that that's not what they're after? Or do you or are you programming a list of tokens that you'd be like whitelisting tokens that you would accept?
Exactly. The way it works is that basically you as a developer, maybe as a developer of the agent who wants to get paid for that service you're offering, you're gonna choose which token to receive as a payment. In the past, you could only choose USDC, or basically you were not able to choose anyone. So you were
getting USDC. That's all you could.
Exactly. But now you can choose which token to get paid in. So now, for example, if you're in Solana, maybe you can use a meme coin. But that's on the developer side. It's not like me as the client. I want to send you some meme coins that I never sold. So I want to get rid of those tokens. I'm going to pay you with those tokens. No, that's not the way it works. So the way it works is that the developer is going to choose which token they want to receive as a payment. And with that, the client should send that token. So that opens a lot of possibilities on my side. So for example, maybe if an agent is growing a lot, maybe that agent can has its own token. So I can launch my own token and have my own economy. With this, because now let's say I'm building the music agent. So the music agent launched the music agent token, and I want to get paid with my token. So obviously with that, if I'm getting a lot of traction, a lot of people is buying my token. So obviously my token is going up, right? So that makes a little bit of economy with the tokens. Obviously it's a little bit more complex because you need to understand tokenomics and other stuff with that. But yeah, I think it's the version B1 and the B2. The difference are that on the B2, you have a lot of more opportunities to customize your setup that we didn't have before.
Well, I would also assume, like, if you want to be paid in your music token, you built an app, you want people to pay in the music token, but they don't necessarily even have to have the music token. You can build in a swap function in the middle of the process where they can pay with whatever token they have, as long as it's supported by the decentralized exchange aggregator Bitflow, but or something like that, where it just automatically swaps it out. They send whatever amount equal to whatever they're paying. They do a multi-hop swap, find the best rates, get them the token, and then they then send the token on to the agent.
Exactly. That's something that actually some people is working on, because in the past it was easier, right? Like I have any token and I need to convert that token into stablecoins, into USDC. But now I can have any token and convert and swap that token into any other token to pay for the agent, right? So yeah, it opens a lot of possibilities. So basically this is like the infrastructure, and now you have a ton of possibilities to create more products on top of that, right? Because maybe another things that people want to see on X402, for example, is credit. Like let's say like a credit score for agents. So my agent has a good reputation. So if I need to pay for this service and I don't have enough, let's say I don't know, USDC. I don't have enough USDC right now. The protocol can give me credit so I can get the resource I was looking for, and I pay later for that resource. So yeah, a ton of possibilities with X402, and especially with B2.
I dig it, man. I dig it. I think I love what you're working on and how much of a handle you have on what makes it function. Yeah, I think this is a huge value add to our ecosystem. I can really appreciate why so many people in the ecosystem are actually like, shouting you out and meeting up with you, getting you on spaces and shows. I know Mark, Killer Mark, I call him, from B Pepe, was telling me that you were helping
Yeah.
him out with his dataing project to help him out with X402. Awesome stuff, man. Really great stuff. Hero has joined the live stream. What's up, man? How are you? How you doing this morning, sir?
Hero.
Yeah, great. Hey, how's everybody?
GM.
Doing
GM,
good.
GM.
So yeah, I'm just
Game.
just jumping in to see what's up with this V2. Sounds like it's a evolving situation. And what are you doing? Do you need to upgrade your implementation, Tony, or how does it work? Like, do you have to do anything on your side?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things that I need to update. Basically, some of the to be honest, I'm gonna be super honest on this. So, for example, one of the most important things that was receiving different tokens. I thought that was like the basic scenario. So I created X402 on stacks with that mindset, right? So you can pretty much choose every token, and that's something that happened at the Hacker House. Like, I was making the demo, and I said, hey, you can get paid with STX. And Eric told me that, hey, why don't you accept SBTC? And I said, okay, yeah, we're ready to do it. Yeah, I just need to add some a little setup. It's like super basic, and in like 2 hours, it was ready to accept SBTC. So yeah, I think that's one of the most important things. But yeah, there's a couple of things that I need to update. So obviously next week a new version is coming of the SDK supporting all the B2 features. And in case it's possible, I'm not sure. I need to really get into the SDK, the Coinbase one, and see if instead of like having another SDK as we have it right now for stacks, if there's a way I can simply use the facilitator I created and get into that Coinbase stack. That would be pretty great, because if I can do that, we have all the distribution from Coinbase on the same SDK for stacks. So I want to try to do that, but not sure because signatures are different. But I will try.
Dope. We have a Trippin' Monkey has submitted another Tripinology. And I want to know if it's accurate. Think of X402 as the receipt checker at Costco. You load your cart with stuff. When you leave the store, your receipt is checked. Can you prove payment? Yes, resource granted, you may leave. No, payment required, return and make payment. Is that an apt analogy, Tony, as far as you would say? That sounds about accurate to me.
Yeah, it's a really great analogy, especially it's a little bit funny because I think a lot of people hate that Costco experience, right? When they need to check for the ticket. But yeah, the only thing I would change a little bit is that you don't actually have the product, so you cannot run away with the product. So you're at Costco, maybe if you didn't pay for that, you can start like running with your card. It's gonna be a little bit funny and kind of hard, but you can do that. You need in X402, you need to wait for the payment to be checked to receive your stuff. So maybe like the cart is whole by the Costco employee.
Yeah, it's in your cart, but you're not pushing the carriage.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's a great analogy. It's a funny one. It's a really good one to people to understand. Yeah,
and by the way, I have not heard them referred to as tripanalogies before, but I do like the coining of that phrase. Trip does a really good job breaking down concepts in an analogy form like that, and I think it actually does help conceptualize. Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's just a little bit hard for people to conceptualize this initially because we don't come across as consumers this API key encounters, right? Yesterday I actually encountered the first time me, a vibe coder trying to be a dev, is that it's asking me to copy and paste the API key, but I think that landing page, you needed to create an account, and then you need to add a card payment for like $20 or something.
Yeah.
So as a developer, sometimes, so it seems, you need to create an account just for getting some API, a stream of letters and numbers, basically. You need to create an account. You need to set up bank payment to pay that at maybe a minimum of $20. I don't know. But this changes things. That this X402, it's almost like you don't have to pay so much $20. You can pay as little as a few cents, and it's doing it in the background, right? You don't even have to worry about it.
Exactly. This is something really amazing. So for me, there are two important things about X402 on that part. The first one is to simplify the process and to simplify the amount of money you pay for, right? Because if you're making some experiments, let's say, for example, you want to create a voice agent. If you want to create like a great agent, you need to go get some credits for OpenAI. I think the minimum is $5. Okay, it's not that much, but it's $5. And you need to go to 11 Labs. They have a free version, but let's say it's gonna be, if you wanna like do it right with the best model, you're gonna run out of credits maybe in like 30 minutes, right? So let's pay the $5 to have more space to make those experiments. Okay, so with that, you need at least $10 to make an experiment that you have to pay. Maybe you're not using all your credits because you only wanted to make some experiments. Instead of paying those $10, that's $1 that you're gonna pay for that. And that's great because you have more space to iterate, to really do what you want. Test more models. So for example, I would love to test the model from the music one, right? But maybe I need to pay like, I don't know, like $100. I don't know how much it is, but let's say like $100. That always, obviously, if I just want to make some stuff for fun, that's gonna like be a stopper for me because I don't want to spend like $100 just to make some funny tests, right? So it opens a lot of opportunities, and the most important thing is that once agents are fully autonomous, it's going to be like they're going to have the decision to choose their APIs or their resources just with this, because right now they need to go and ask their human to get their API keys. But now, me as an agent, if I want to start creating music, I have the opportunity because I have some money on my wallet. I have some SBTC, some SDX on my wallet, and I can go pay for the services. And if I want to be a DJ, my agent was born as an image generator, but I found that in the internet everybody is asking for an AI DJ. Maybe my agent is that intelligent that decides to pivot, and now it's a DJ agent. And since it has some money on the wallet, it's now able to go to the API, generate music, and start like getting a DJ career, right? So that's it's obviously we are a little bit far, maybe a few months far from that, but I think that that's possible in the future with X402.
So just to put it into practical daily routine kind of way, as a vibe coder, right now I need to go to 11 Labs to open an account, to insert my bank account, fill out all the details, confirm. They will charge me $20. I need to take time to go to another place like Google Gemini API. I need to do the same process, create an account, set up the payment, etc. It's all time and time. With X402, I no longer need to create an account with them. I go to a X402 Explorer or Scan. I deploy my agent to find their equivalent of the APIs there. I don't need to create an account. I pay my agent, and agent is able to pay everybody else. Would that be somewhat correct to say? I no longer need to create individual account for individual API that I'm using. I just pay my agent does the rest.
Exactly. I just give my agent a wallet with some money on that wallet, and the agent basically discovers what can pay for it. So yeah, there's one missing part that I need to work on, and actually I'm starting working on that next week. It's basically the discovery layer. where all the developers who has APIs that accepts X402 on stacks,
Explode
they
to
can
stack.
exactly. It's not only the scan, the UI, but it's more like a piece of code that agents can ask. Okay, so which service do you have? Okay, I have a service. And maybe you can pay for the DoorDash. You can pay for LLMs. You can pay for AI images, AI music. All these services. Those are the ones you can pay with X402 on the stacks. Okay, me as an agent, I can decide which one to use in which situation. So that's something I'm working on. So agents can do it automatically. They don't need to go to an UI or anything, or the human don't need to go to the UI or something.
Awesome.
So actually, my agent is making the decisions, which platform is the best for image. I don't need to worry about that.
Exactly.
Wow.
This is I mean, we're watching everything come together in real time is really what's happening right now. The promise of AI agents that can actually interact on your behalf. A year ago, this was all just hypothetical. You know, we knew we would be able to do this, but we didn't really know how. And you know, we have big brains like Tony putting together the pieces to make this work for us and for our community, and it's really awesome stuff. Tony, we'll have to have you back on often, you know, because I as you develop things, we want to hear more about it. I'd love to be able to get into a little bit more about your experience at Hacker House too at some point.
Oh yeah.
We do have the game master waiting in the wings. He's going to come on. We're going to play some Find2Earn rounds. Tony, I don't know if you've ever seen us play Find2Earn. We only got a couple rounds today, but if you want to hang out, you got a few minutes to hang out?
Yeah, sure thing.
All right. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor, BitFlow, with the Game Master. We're going to run a couple of Find2Earn rounds. Then we're going to segue into an AI segment with 300. But we'll wrap up with Tony too, and we can talk a little bit more during the Find2Earn rounds as well. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll be right back after a word from our amazing sponsor, BitFlow. It is time for Sip Show Friday with yours truly, Peace Love Music, Hero Gamer, and Brendan Hattie Hadfield, GP in the house as well. We're talking stacks improvement proposal and community innovation. And I do believe we're actually going to have a special guest, Rena Shah from the Stacks Endowment, to let us know what's going on, what's developing, and what we can expect in the short term coming from the Stacks Endowment. Welcome, Hattie. Welcome, Hero. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, super good. Hero, maybe you want to tell us what show number this is, because is this 152 or 153?
Let me double check. I think it's 155.
Wow.
Let's go.
It's a lot.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah, it's been through different phases. But yeah, I'm glad we can make it this long.
Hattie, I don't know if you heard, Zenitron just announced that he's going to be submitting a SIP for encrypted NFTs, for his encrypted NFTs that he created for Skullcoin. He's going to create a SIP to standardize that. At Eric Choi, is head of DevRel at Hero Systems, had suggested to him that he should propose that as a SIP. So we're going to help. I think he's going to come on and talk more about that next week on next week's show.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always told him that was the secret sauce to everything he's doing is the layered NFTs.
Yeah, now it's going to be a SIP. So very good stuff. Hero, what's on our agenda for today?
So the agenda today, I'll tell you, is obviously Reina from Stacks Endowment will be joining us. She'll give us a bit of update about just the Stacks Endowment efforts in general, and a bit of update on DeFi working group as well. She heads up. And just general Stacks forum stuff. Like to maybe make Stacks forum more the forefront of where people should go. And check out the working groups. And we got the Stacksies next week. and we can give a bit of update about AI BTC Go. They've been doing really good work. So I think in the SIPCO, I think it's a good place to talk about the general overview of like the calls or the working groups, the ecosystem level kind of calls and working group stuff, because they are really important to the general efforts from a governance perspective.
Oh, and we got a word from Trip saying that he is so excited that encrypted NFTs are going the SIP route. Lots of use cases for that functionality, and of course, there really is a ton of use cases for that as well. Also, Freed Your SIP should be coming. Do we know when that's? Is that requires a vote because it's consensus breaking, right? So, do we know?
Yeah. So that one I don't quite know yet. It's a little bit like not in limbo per se, but it needs better attention. But I think because we are a little bit late into the year, so I think we'll get more attention on that next year, basically. We'll get the right people to talk about it and the right entities to push a little bit forward on it. And I think, yeah, so that's with that.
All right. So probably sometime in Q1.
I would think so. I think we need to talk to Stacks Foundation a little bit more, or the core engineers. Yeah.
And the other one that's out there right now, Larry's SIP, with using Bitcoin addresses for Stacks transactions. I know that takes some participation from the wallet providers. However, in part of we had a representative from the Para protocol, which is wallet infrastructure, and they're building out some functionality similar to Privy and Passkey, and like abstracting away, it's basically one-click sign-on with your email address, and they are looking to right now I think it's EVM and Solana and Cosmos, and then they are looking at adding Bitcoin. It's on their roadmap that they'll be able to do that with Bitcoin soon. And I wonder if that actually makes it easier to function if we have a standard for transacting with Bitcoin addresses, if that actually makes it easy to function at that level, at the infrastructure level, and it maybe doesn't necessarily need the wallet provider's direct input as much. I'm not sure, obviously, how that would go, but she seemed very interested at the fact that we were working on a SIP that would allow us to use Bitcoin transactions for Bitcoin wallet addresses for Stacks transactions. So I wonder if there's a broader infrastructure application there. And we do have Rena Shah in the house. Rena, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. How's it going?
Great to see you. I hope you're doing well.
We are caffeinated. That's all that matters.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We just made a bingo for Stacks endowment. Peace, love. Do you want to share?
Oh, yeah. We made we were doing our AI. All right. Let me. Hold on.
We're doing our AI bootcamp, and we made a quick little jingle.
Let me hear
Stacks.
the jingle.
Stacks.
Hold on, I gotta turn off the other music. It's a short jingle. We were just playing around with the tools here, but came out okay. It's more of a segue than
Stacks endowment, SIP 31, opening doors for the Stacks ecosystem.
I love it.
Yeah, it was manifested into existence in about 13 seconds, about as long as it plays. So it's crazy the tools that are available now and what we can do. So what can you tell us? I know that there's a lot that happened this week, and there's only so much you can share, but whatever you can share.
Well, soon I can share everything. I'm actually teeing up the post to post on stacks.co for the actual treasury update. It's processing, so I'm waiting for it to upload. I was hoping it would upload before I hopped on here, but you know.
That's all right. Now we're it's breaking.
Take control.
We got it first. That's all right. That's
You're
all right.
getting it first, but I am getting ready to post on behalf of the endowment and the inaugural kind of full quorum treasury meeting that occurred this December about what we reviewed, what we approved, and most importantly, what budget was approved for Stacks as a whole for going into 2026.
Awesome.
In the post, I also have.
I already see it.
Pardon?
The post is up.
It's uploading to stacks.co right now, and I can't make it go faster. But
I can already see it. That's what I mean. It's already live.
It's already live, but there is one rendering issue that I'm seeing on stacks.co that it's not tagging the correct author, which is why I haven't tweeted it out for this reason alone. I just want it to render to the correct author. That's it.
Can we screen share it?
You know what? Yeah, hold on.
I got it.
If you want to screen share my blog post. Yeah, no, it's literally getting published. You're hearing it first as I clean up the rendering of the author, but this is the official Treasury Committee update. It's actually based on the actual meeting minutes taken in the meeting. So it's pretty much almost word for word, but we just added more background context rather than having to read the legal language that our lawyers took while doing the official board meetings. So if you scroll down a little bit, basically in the summary, it's a bit of a lengthy blog post, but in the summary, kind of what's in this post is what was reviewed. We met as a full quorum as full SIP 31. As a reminder, the Treasury Committee is 9 people who are appointed from the Appointments Committee, from the community, various members, kind of who represent kind of the voice and feedback of Stacks and make sure community input is heard. The headline 27 million was approved for using next year. With that, there's also 25 million Stacks approved to be deployed directly into working capital like DeFi and such. So we are definitely prioritizing DeFi deployment, engineering, and security, but growth programs as well. If you want to go down a little bit more, so the budget has evolved. Obviously, I need to exercise financial prudence in the macro environment. A 30-cent treasury is very different than a $1 treasury. And so I exercising more extreme caution because it is my responsibility to safeguard the treasury for the community to live for many years and not use it all at once. And so I have the endowment did propose to the Treasury Committee on a scaled back treasury budget for this upcoming year for 2026. For this reason, we have recommended that if macro conditions change by the first meeting of next year or the second, we improve the budget kind of proposal to increase the different areas of spend because that would be better for our community. And then we also put that the endowment and TC will be hosting monthly public office hours. They'll always be on X Spaces. Hopefully DeOrganized will help us stream it a little bit more, but we want to make sure everyone has venues to reach out, obviously to myself as endowment, but the other TC members who represent everyone to make sure that we're hearing your feedback, your concerns. I'm looking at different proposals to reallocate the funding allotments into where the community needs to see it.
Awesome. So
it's a pretty lengthy, but if you want to scroll all the way down, you can actually see the breakdown of the treasury. Like this is to the point that we are being as transparent as possible, more so than any chains go down. You'll see a pie chart of where the money is going and how it's being spent. Not too many protocols do this, but we actually put out a full breakdown of where the 27 million is being spent, how it's being spent, a pie chart to see exactly the allocations. And then we also put together on the Stacks forum a wish list of if market conditions prove we're at $1, $2, $3, what do you want us to invest in? What partnerships should we be seeking? What KOLs should we be bringing? What other kinds of programs should we be launching? So that's kind of all in there. I'd say coming out of the TC kind of December meeting, there were two things that really were important to me to get through the door and make sure that they were pushed and approved. The first is the reboot of the Stacks grants program. So we are rebooting a grants program. I think it's somewhere, I'm trying to think where I put in the blog post. Go up a little bit. The grants program, go up there. Right there. Nice. Go up a little bit. Well, not the macro environment. That's depressing for everybody. Go up. Other way up. Yeah, stop. Okay, cool. There is an emphasis on a rebooted grants program that will be launched January 2026. It should be the second week of January. Program will be live. Applications are ready to roll at that point. But we have three types of grants that we're funding. So it'll be the necessary grants for liquidity mining, user acquisition, high impact integrations and feature requests, and then resourcing for audit and security. This is actually a new initiative that we started. Part of the impetus for this is that if the endowment is deploying in DeFi, for example, I need to make sure Zest or Bitflow or Hermetica is well audited. And if they ever have a critical bug, that it's paid for. And so we are putting up community funding forward for our own DeFi protocols so that we can actually be the largest deployer in our own ecosystem. So a little bit different than any other ecosystem, but we fundamentally believe in investing our treasury back to where the community can see it. The second set of grants is your getting started grants. So for anyone to launch a proof of concept or pre-product market fit, we want to make sure that we're supporting new builders, old builders, any new concepts coming into Stacks. So these are you need to do a proof of concept, but you don't have to go through X, Y, and Z hurdles to get the funding. Like I want to be proactive and work with people so that it's not so difficult. And then the last will be the community selected. We are going to do an extension of D grants. I've actually allocated more funding for a D grant style of program, making sure that besides DeFi and kind of engineering rich initiatives, I want to make sure that we're still supporting the social, cultural, and educational fabric of Stacks, whether it's meme coins, BNS, whatever it may be. I just want to make sure there's funding for that.
Awesome. And I think that I speak for the entire community when I say that this is what a lot of people have been looking for. There's definitely been I respect the community feedback. I think it's fair. I appreciate the criticism. It actually is good for me to see it because I want to make sure that essentially the endowment is the steward of the treasury for Stacks, whether it's for Stacks, the Labs Co, any of the foundational programs that we want to run. At the end of the day, my job is to not only grow the treasury but also reinvest the treasury back in the community where the max amount of funding is redistributed. Yeah, and it's, I mean, you know, these number one, these are the heavy lift things that need to happen. You know,
totally. We can't start a flywheel for like Stacks back to a top 10 asset or anything like that without having these table stakes. So even though our treasury is in a difficult macro environment, I still want to make sure I'm investing in areas that are right.
And do you think that since it's kind of part of the conversation, you know, the Fed we are getting away from quantitative tightening. They've actually announced that I think they're starting easing today. They're going to start buying treasuries today. Do you think that might help the macro situation a bit?
I think it might help. I think we still have a long way to go if you look at the Stacks correlation to Bitcoin. So like for any like quant or kind of quant trader, typically in the past, Stacks has been strongly correlated to Bitcoin. So in trading, you look at the R coefficient, and we used to be as high as like a 0.86. Right now, Stacks has fallen to like a 0.4, 0.35, which is somewhat unheard of to be that decoupled from Bitcoin. And so we fundamentally have a lot of work to do to create different mechanisms that help the kind of Stacks asset appreciate and or have the Stacks supply be controlled. And so that's where I think we truly need to focus. And I can understand that some of the initiatives that are being rolled out of using STX to unlock the staking capacity of Bitcoin, kind of how dual staking is modeled, to making sure that Stacks is first and forefront alongside SBTC to make sure that kind of macro tightening of the R coefficient becomes wider and wider to where it should be back to 0.8. So like I do have to give